Did you know that there are some legendary R&B stars who are still making music past 70, 80, and even 90 years old? From Smokey Robinson, who continues to release new albums, to Patti LaBelle, celebrating over 6 decades in music with a brand new project. Here are 20 of the oldest R&B stars who are still active or remembered in 2025. Al Green, 79 years old. Al Green, born April 13, 1946, is one of the most beloved soul singers of all time. In the early 1970s, he gave the world a string of unforgettable hits like Tired of Being Alone, I'm Still in Love with You, and Love and Happiness. Working side by side with producer Willie Mitchell and the high rhythm section, Green became a defining voice of Memphis soul and built a sound that has never gone out of style. His life, however, took a dramatic turn. After the tragic death of his girlfriend, Green turned away from secular music and became an ordained pastor. For many years, he focused on gospel, but later returned at times to sing soul again. His contributions have been recognized around the world. Green was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995, where he was described as one of the most gifted purveyors of soul music. Many also call him the last of the great soul singers. Over his career, he has won 11 Grammy Awards, including the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and has been honored with the BMI Icon Award and the Kennedy Center Honors. Though Al Green is no longer active in the music industry, his voice remains timeless. In September 2018, he surprised fans with his first new recording in more than a decade, a version of Before the Next Teardrop Falls. Since then, he has stepped back from the spotlight. Diana Ross, 81 years old. Diana Ross, also known as the Queen of Motown, was born on March 26, 1944. She rose to fame in the 1960s as the lead singer of the Supremes, Motown's most successful act and one of the greatest girl groups of all time. With 12 #1 singles on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, the Supremes remain the best charting female group in history. In 1970, Diana left the group to begin her solo career, starting with her debut album, Diana Ross. From there, she became a global star, releasing 26 studio albums and selling more than 100 million records worldwide. Her talent extended beyond music as well. In 1972, she made her film debut playing Billie Holiday in Lady Sings the Blues. The role earned her a Golden Globe Award and an Academy Award nomination, making her the first African-American actress to be nominated for an Oscar in a debut performance. In 1976, Billboard named her the Female Entertainer of the Century, a title that reflected her extraordinary influence. Even after decades in the spotlight, Diana has remained active. In 2022, she earned a Grammy nomination for her album, Thank You. The following year, she launched the Music Legacy Tour, celebrating her many #1 hits, and performed at London's Royal Albert Hall in 2023 and again in 2024. Most recently, in May 2025, Diana Ross appeared at the Met Gala, where she revealed that she was still touring. Patti LaBelle, 82 years old. Patti LaBelle has spent more than 60 years sharing her powerful voice with the world. Known as the Godmother of Soul, she was born on May 24, 1944. She first found fame in the early 1960s as the lead singer of Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells. In the 1970s, the group shortened its name to LaBelle and made history with the #1 hit, Lady Marmalade. After the group disbanded in 1976, Patti stepped forward as a solo artist. Her solo career began in 1977 with her debut album, which featured one of her signature songs, You Are My Friend. From there, her voice carried her to even greater success, selling more than 50 million records worldwide. Beyond music, Patti also made her mark as an actress, appearing in the Academy Award-nominated film A Soldier's Story, television shows like A Different World and American Horror Story, Freak Show, and even starring in her own sitcom, Out All Night, in the early 1990s. Through the decades, her talent and influence have been celebrated again and again. She has been inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame, and the Apollo Theater Hall of Fame. Rolling Stone also included her on their list of the 100 greatest singers of all time. Even now, Patti continues to create and perform. In 2024, she celebrated her 80th birthday in a big way by announcing a new album, 8065, honoring both her 80 years of life and 65 years in music. Just weeks later, she revealed a tour of the same name, beginning in Los Angeles in July 2024. Gladys Knight, 82 years old. Gladys Knight, born on May 28, 1944, became one of the most powerful voices in soul music. With her family group, Gladys Knight and the Pips, which included her brother Merrill Knight and cousins William Guest and Edward Patton, she recorded hit after hit through the 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s. Together, they gave the world unforgettable songs like I Heard It Through the Grapevine and Midnight Train to Georgia, both of which were later honored by the Grammy Hall of Fame for their lasting cultural impact. Known as the Empress of Soul, Gladys earned 7 Grammy Awards over her career, 4 on her own and 3 with the Pips. Her influence has been recognized in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Vocal Group Hall of Fame, and Rolling Stone once named her among the 100 greatest singers of all time. Even in recent years, her career has been filled with major honors and performances. In 2019, she performed at the 100th anniversary of the Delaware State Fair, and in 2022, she received one of the nation's highest cultural awards, the Kennedy Center Honors, presented by President Joe Biden. That same year, she headlined a U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit dinner at the White House. Though she once announced a farewell tour in 2009, Gladys never truly left the stage. She has continued to tour across the UK throughout the 2010s and beyond, performing in Scotland and England as recently as 2024. That same year, she also announced a farewell tour of Australia and New Zealand. Carla Thomas, 82 years old. Carla Thomas, also known as the Queen of Memphis Soul, was born on December 21, 1942. In the 1960s, her voice helped shape the sound of Stax Records, where she recorded some of her biggest hits. Songs like Gee Whiz, Look at His Eyes, B.A.B.Y., and her duet with Otis Redding, Tramp, made her one of the standout female voices of the era. After her last Stax album, Love Means, in 1971, and an appearance at the legendary Watt-Stax concert in 1972, Carla slowly stepped away from the spotlight. Over the years, fans rediscovered her through reissues and live recordings, including a 1994 Greatest Hits album, a 2002 live set in Memphis, and a 2007 release of a long-lost 1967 concert at the Bohemian Caverns in Washington, D.C. Carla also gave back to her community. In the 1980s, she toured occasionally, but much of her time was spent working with the Artists in the Schools program in Memphis. Through this, she met with teenagers to talk about music, the arts, and the dangers of drug abuse. In 1993, her contributions were honored when she received the Rhythm and Blues Foundation's Pioneer Award, alongside legends like James Brown and Solomon Burke. More recently, in 2021, she appeared on Valerie June's single, Call Me a Fool, which went on to earn a Grammy nomination. Irma Thomas, 84 years old. Irma Thomas was born on February 18, 1941. She grew up in New Orleans and became known to the world as the Soul Queen of New Orleans. Her journey began in 1959 when she released her first single, Don't Mess With My Man. The song reached number 22 on the Billboard R&B chart and marked the start of a long career in music. She came up during the same time as Aretha Franklin and Etta James. While she didn't always get the same level of fame as those stars, her voice and presence made her a lasting figure in R&B. After decades of performing, Irma won her first Grammy in 2007 for After the Rain, an album that earned her the award for Best Contemporary Blues Album. She continued to gain recognition in later years, winning back-to-back Blues Music Awards for Soul Blues Female Artist in 2013 and 2014. Her contributions to music were celebrated again in 2018, when she received the Lifetime Achievement Award for performance at the Americana Music Honors and Awards. And even as she got older, Irma never stopped performing. In May 2024, she took the stage at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival alongside the Rolling Stones. Together with Mick Jagger, she sang her classic "Time Is on My Side," the same song the Stones had covered in 1964, which became their first American Top 10 hit. She has continued to release new music till today. In 2025, she released an album, Audience with the Queen, with the New Orleans electro-funk band Galactic. Otis Williams, 84 years old. Otis Williams, born on October 30th, 1941, is best known as the leader of the Temptations. Long before the group became famous, he was forming singing groups as a young man. He started with groups like Otis Williams and the Siberians, the El Domingos, and later the Distance. In 1959, the Distance had a local hit called "Come On," but the group's later songs didn't take off. When Motown founder Berry Gordy showed interest, Williams, along with Elbridge Bryant and Melvin Franklin, decided to make a fresh start. After some of the Distance left, Eddie Kendricks and Paul Williams joined in, and together they became the Elgins. Not long after, they changed their name to the Temptations when they signed with Motown in 1961. Otis rarely took the lead on songs. He was the organizer, the one who held the group together through constant changes. The Temptations went through many lineup shifts over the years, but Otis and Melvin Franklin promised each other they would never quit. Melvin stayed until his health forced him to stop in 1994, and his passing the next year left Otis as the last surviving original member. Even so, Otis never stepped away. As of 2025, he is still with the Temptations, leading the group he helped create more than 60 years ago. He has appeared on every album they've ever released, including their most recent project, Temptation 60, which came out in January 2022 and featured a collaboration with Smokey Robinson. Martha Reeves, 84 years old. Martha Reeves was born on July 18, 1941. She became one of Motown's brightest voices as the lead singer of Martha and the Vandellas. Her big break came by chance. One day, Motown star Mary Wells couldn't make a recording session, and Martha stepped up to the microphone. She called in her group, then known as the Delphis, and together they recorded "I'll Have to Let Him Go." That was the moment Martha and the Vandellas were born. Soon after, they were even backing Marvin Gaye on his early singles, including "Stubborn Kind of Fellow," before their own songs began topping the charts. The group gave the world unforgettable hits like "Heatwave," "Nowhere to Run," "Jimmy Mack," and "Dancing in the Street." Martha's career stretched far beyond her Motown years. From 2005 to 2009, she served her community on the Detroit City Council, then returned to the stage full-time. By 2010, she was performing nearly 50 shows a year, including a major tour of Australia. Summers often took her to the UK, where her lively shows earned her nominations at the UK Festival Awards for Best Headliner and Feel Good Act of the Summer. She has continued to perform with her sisters, Lois and Delphine. In 2024, Martha's legacy was celebrated with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Music greats like Berry Gordy Jr., Smokey Robinson, and Stevie Wonder came out to honor her. Smokey Robinson, 85 years old. Smokey Robinson, born on February 19, 1940, has spent most of his life shaping the sound of R&B and soul. He started out in the 1950s as the lead singer and main songwriter for a young group called the Five Chimes, which later became the famous Miracles. Smokey not only gave the group its voice, but also wrote many of their classic hits. He stayed with the Miracles until 1972, when he stepped away to take on a big role as a vice president at Motown Records. But music kept calling him back. Just a year later, he returned as a solo artist and built another successful chapter in his career. Over the years, Smokey earned some of the highest honors in music. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, and in 2016, he received the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for his contributions to popular music. On top of that, he has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one as a solo artist and another with the Miracles. In 2022, his legacy was honored once again when he was inducted into the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame. Even in recent years, Smokey has shown no signs of slowing down. In 2023, at more than 80 years old, he released Gasms, his first album in nearly a decade. The project brought all new music, including the single If We Don't Have Each Other, proving that his creative spark is still very much alive. Mavis Staples, 86 years old. Mavis Staples, born on July 10, 1939, is a powerful voice in both rhythm and blues and gospel music, and she has also been a strong civil rights activist. She first rose to fame as part of her family's group, the Staples Singers. With them, she recorded timeless hits like I'll Take You There and Let's Do It Again. Today, she is the last surviving member of the group. Over the years, Mavis has done more than just sing. She has also appeared in films and television shows such as The Last Waltz, Wattstax, Soul Train, and even The Cosby Show. Even in her later years, Mavis has remained very active. In 2019, she celebrated her 80th birthday with a special concert at the Apollo Theater in New York, the same stage where she had first performed as a teenager back in 1956. That birthday celebration brought in guest artists like David Byrne and Norah Jones, showing how much she has inspired musicians across generations. That same summer, she also performed at the world-famous Glastonbury Festival. In 2020, she teamed up with hip-hop duo Run the Jewels for their song Pulling the Pin, proving once again that her voice can fit into any era of music. Then in 2022, she released Carry Me Home, a heartfelt project with Levon Helm, recorded years earlier at his Midnight Ramble sessions. Mavis Staples continues to perform and record, carrying the spirit of gospel, soul, and freedom wherever she goes. William Bell, 86 years old. William Bell was born on July 16, 1939. Bell was the first male solo artist signed to Stax Records, and he released several singles before joining the military. He first gained attention with his debut single, You Don't Miss Your Water, in 1961. Even while serving, he kept recording, including the song Marching Off to War. After finishing his military service, he released his debut album, The Soul of a Belle, in 1967, which included the hit Everybody Loves a Winner. Bell was a close friend of Otis Redding and narrowly avoided being on the same tragic flight that took Redding's life, thanks to a snowstorm in Chicago that canceled his show. Bell has continued performing for decades. In 2017, at age 78, he appeared at the Royal Albert Hall BBC Proms with Jules Holland and his Rhythm and Blues Orchestra in a tribute to 50 years of Stax Records. He also toured with artists from Take Me to the River in 2017 and 2018. In 2024, the Recording Academy honored his 1961 classic, You Don't Miss Your Water, by inducting it into the Grammy Hall of Fame, recognizing its historical and musical significance. Maxine Ella Brown, 86 years old. Maxine Ella Brown, born on August 18, 1939, is an American soul and R&B singer who became popular in the 1960s. She began her recording career with the Small Nomar label, releasing the deep soul ballad All in My Mind, which she wrote herself. The song became a hit, reaching number 2 on the U.S. Billboard R&B chart and number 19 on the pop chart. Her next song, titled Funny, also did well, hitting number 3 on the R&B chart and number 25 on the Hot 100. Brown's records usually featured backing vocals from Cissy Houston and the Sweet Inspirations, who also worked with Elvis Presley and were supported by Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson. Ashford and Simpson had written more songs for Brown and her singing partner Chuck Jackson, but when Scepter Records passed on them, they took the songs to Motown, where the material later became hits for Ray Charles and the duo Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. In 1969, Brown left Wand Records for Commonwealth United and released We'll Cry Together, which reached number 10 on the R&B chart. She later recorded for Avco Records, but her later singles did not achieve much commercial success. Since then, Maxine Brown has barely been active in the music industry. Eddie Floyd, 88 years old. Eddie Lee Floyd was born June 25, 1937. He is best remembered for his classic hit, Knock on Wood. The song became a number 1 R&B hit in the 1960s and remains one of the defining tracks of the Stax Records era. Long before that, at just 16 years old, Floyd helped form the group The Falcons, which also included Mac Rice. That group paved the way for future Detroit legends like The Temptations and the Four Tops. As a solo artist, Floyd proved himself to be one of Stax's most reliable hitmakers. He delivered songs like I've Never Found a Girl, To Love Me Like You Do, and Raise Your Hand, the latter later covered by artists such as Janis Joplin and Bruce Springsteen. His music carried the sound of Southern soul across generations. Floyd's contributions have earned him lasting recognition. In 2016, he was inducted into the National Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame, and in 2018, he joined the Memphis Music Hall of Fame. Even in his later years, he continued to shine on stage. At 80 years old, he performed at London's Royal Albert Hall in a special tribute concert celebrating 50 years of Stax Records. In 2020, one of his older recordings from 1979, Guess It Wasn't Meant to Be, was released to the public, reminding fans of the depth of his talent. William Stevenson, 88 years old. William Stevenson is a key figure in the history of Motown and American soul music. He was born on January 4, 1937, and has worked as a songwriter and record producer for Motown from its early days under Berry Gordy until 1967. During the 1960s, he led Motown's A&R department, helping guide the careers of legendary artists like the Supremes, Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, the Four Tops, Stevie Wonder, and Martha and the Vandellas. Stevenson also played a crucial role in organizing Motown's in-house studio band, which became famous as the Funk Brothers. Stevenson wrote and produced many hit songs, often collaborating with Ivy Jo Hunter. After leaving Motown in 1969, he started his own label, People Records, recording artists such as Kim Weston and Hodges, James and Smith, though the label closed shortly after. That same year, he became head of Venture Records, a subsidiary of MGM, helping develop their soul and R&B artists through the mid-1970s. Later in life, Stevenson turned his focus to producing stage musicals. Some of his notable works include Swan, Showgirls, Wings and Things, The Gospel Truth, TKO, and Chocolate City. Stevenson's work behind the scenes helped shape the sound of Motown and the golden era of soul music. Gene Chandler, 88 years old. Ned Chandler, born on July 6, 1937, is an American singer, songwriter, record producer, and music executive. He began in 1957 as the lead singer of the Duquesnes, a group that included James Lowe, Shirley Jones, Earl Edwards, and Ben Broyles. In 1961, the Duquesnes recorded The Girl is a Devil with Nat Records, and later that year, Chandler helped create the hit songs Night Owl and Duke of Earl. Duke of Earl became his first major success and is remembered as one of the most iconic doo-wop songs of all time. After years of performing, Chandler moved into music production. He formed his own production company and started 2 record labels, Bamboo and Mr. Chand. In 1970, he scored another big hit with Groovy Situation on Mercury Records, which reached number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 8 on the R&B charts. The song sold over 1 million copies and earned a gold certification, becoming his second greatest success after Duke of Earl. Chandler is a Grammy Hall of Fame inductee and has received the Rhythm and Blues Foundation's Pioneer Award. He is one of the few artists whose hits have crossed multiple musical eras, from doo-wop, R&B, soul, and disco, with charting songs from 1961 all the way through 1986. In 2014, he was inducted into the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame as a performer, and in 2016, he became a double inductee as an R&B music pioneer. Buddy Guy, 89 years old, is one of the most legendary blues guitarists and singers of all time. He was born on July 30th, 1936. His career took off in the 1960s when he played alongside Muddy Waters at Chess Records and teamed up with harmonica great Junior Wells. But in those early years, his record label, Chess Records, didn't believe in his fiery lifestyle. Leonard Chess, the founder, even dismissed his sound as just making noise. Because of that, many of Guy's early recordings were never released. Despite those struggles, Buddy Guy's influence only grew. His wild, emotional playing style inspired generations of guitarists, and over the years, he earned 8 Grammy Awards, a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, the National Medal of Arts, and the Kennedy Center Honors. In 2023, Rolling Stone ranked him 27th on their list of the greatest guitarists of all time. In 2024, Buddy Guy retired from touring with a farewell run fittingly called the Damn Right Farewell Tour. Still, he never completely walked away from the stage. He often shows up at his own Chicago club, Buddy Guy's Legends, where he continues to sing and play for fans who come from around the world to see him. That same year, he headlined the Chicago Blues Festival as part of his farewell shows. In 2025, he made a cameo appearance in Ryan Coogler's period horror film, Sinners, showing once again that his presence is larger than music alone. Clarence Carter, 89 years old. Clarence Carter, born on January 14, 1936, is an American singer, songwriter, and record producer. He first started making music with his friend Calvin Scott. The two performed as Clarence and Calvin and later became the C&C Boys when they signed with Duke Records. They released a few singles, but none really caught on. After Scott was badly injured in a car accident, Clarence pushed forward on his own. In 1967, he found success with the song Tell Daddy, which climbed the R&B charts. The track even inspired Etta James to record her famous reply, Tell Mama. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, Clarence Carter was a well-known name in soul music. But when disco took over in the mid-1970s, his career slowed down. He made a comeback in the 1980s after signing with Ichiban Records. The songs like Strokin' and Dr. CC, which he released during that time, connected with audiences and gave him a whole new following. His music especially appealed to African-American working-class fans, many of whom also enjoyed artists like Bobby Rush, Denise LaSalle, and Marvin Sease. Even till today, Clarence kept recording, releasing albums on his own label, CG Entertainment. He never stopped performing either, touring across the southern states and even overseas. If you are enjoying this video, appreciate it by giving it a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Bobby Rush, 91 years old. Bobby Rush, born on November 10, 1933, is a legendary blues musician, singer, songwriter, and producer. He became famous in the early 1970s with the song Chicken Heads. At first, the track was released on a small label, but when it was picked up by Galaxy Records, it became a hit, reaching number 34 on the Billboard R&B chart in 1971. Rush kept making music for decades and earned respect as one of the hardest working men in the blues. In 2014, his album Down in Louisiana was nominated for a Grammy and also won the Blues Music Award for Soul Blues Album of the Year. That same year, he appeared on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, performing alongside Dan Aykroyd in a tribute to James Brown. The recognition kept coming. In 2015, he earned another Grammy nomination for his album Decisions, which featured Dr. John. Over the years, Rush has collected 12 Blues Music Awards, and in 2017, at the age of 83, he finally won his first Grammy for the album Porcupine Meat. Today, Bobby Rush is celebrated not only for his music, but also for his influence. He is a member of the Blues Hall of Fame, the Mississippi Musicians Hall of Fame, and the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame. Ruby Nash Garnett, 91 years old. Garnett is best remembered as the lead singer of the rhythm and blues group Ruby and the Romantics. She was born on June 15, 1934, and her journey began in 1961 when she joined a group of male singers who were then calling themselves the Supremes. After signing with Cap Records, the group changed its name to Ruby and the Romantics, with Ruby's voice at the center. In 1963, they struck gold with their #1 hit, Our Day Will Come. The group followed up with other songs that made the charts, like My Summer Love and Hey There Lonely Boy. Though none matched the success of their first big hit, Ruby and the Romantics remained popular through the 1960s. Remarkably, the group stayed together with all 5 original members for a full decade, until they disbanded in 1971. After her music career, Ruby returned to her hometown of Akron, Ohio, and worked at AT&T. Years later, her group finally received recognition for their contributions to R&B. Ruby and the Romantics were honored with the Pioneer Award from the Rhythm and Blues Foundation in 1997 and were inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 2007. Today, Ruby Nash Garnett is the last surviving member of the group, carrying the legacy of those unforgettable harmonies that once made Our Day Will Come a timeless classic. Berry Gordy, 95 years old. Berry Gordy Jr. is one of the most important figures in music history. He was born on July 10, 1939. He is known as the founder of Motown Records, the label that became the heartbeat of soul and R&B, and for many years, the most successful African-American-owned business in the country. Before becoming a music mogul, Gordy was also a songwriter. He wrote or co-wrote several hits, including Jackie Wilson's Lonely Teardrops, and That's Why, The Miracles Shop Around, and The Contours' Do You Love Me. Many of these songs topped the R&B charts. He was also part of The Corporation, the songwriting team behind many of the Jackson 5's biggest hits. As a record producer and businessman, Gordy's vision changed music forever. He helped launch the careers of legendary artists such as the Supremes, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, The Temptations, The Four Tops, and Gladys Knight and the Pips. Under his leadership, Motown brought black music to the mainstream and shaped American culture. Over the years, Gordy has received many honors for his impact. In 2016, President Barack Obama awarded him the National Medal of Arts, praising him for creating a trailblazing new sound that became part of America's story. In Los Angeles, the city named Berry Gordy Square at the intersection of Sunset Boulevard and Argyle, where the Motown office once stood. In 2021, he received the Kennedy Center honors alongside icons like Bette Midler and Joni Mitchell. In 2022, he was inducted into the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame, cementing his place as one of the greatest music visionaries of all time. Which of these songs do you like today? Let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video for more content.